if I had to break it down, the reasons why I stay awake. Number one's the endless cycle of the choices that I fake. Number five's a late night spiral, scrolling through my phone. And somewhere in the middle is a fear of being all alone. My calendar's a battle zone, my coffee's gone cold, and my dreams feel like a sweater that's unraveling with holes. It's like a freight train slamming on a rickety track, or a kite in a hurricane that won't come back. I'm stuck, I'm strung out, I'm a little offbeat, but I'm still tapping my feet. Yeah, I'm still tapping my feet. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. Got a letter from my landlord saying rent's overdue, and the fridge is humming louder than a midnight blues tune. I've been patching all the cracks with the roll of duct tape, but the walls are caving in and I can't escape. Every what if that I whisper grows into a roar. I'm a ship without a captain, headed straight for the shore. It's like a parachute pack with a hole in the seams, or a firework fizzling before it gleams. I'm afraid I'm faded, I'm a little off key, but I'm still humming my dreams. Yeah, I'm still humming my dreams. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. There's a spark in the chaos, a light in the haze, a rhythm in the madness of these tangled up days. I don't need perfection, just a second to breathe. A little bit of hope is all I really need. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out. I'm gonna scream until my lungs give out. Live a little louder, make it count. I'll keep pushing till the walls come down. I won't let go, I won't back out.
Good morning, oh brother, oh brother, oh brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where today we have a beautiful, Thursday, October the 16th. We're basically on Friday Eve here, so folks, hope you're having a good one. As I was talking a little bit in the Discord this morning, I'm ready to be heard again. Pre-market action, similar to yesterday, is looking good. It's giving me, I guess, these visions of grandeur. It's really inflating my hope a little bit, and we also see how that played out yesterday. Everything was great until 10, and then we vomited. Right now, there's just not stability in the market. In reality, we have a little bit of stability above, a little bit of stability below, and yesterday is proof of what can happen as soon as you start cracking those levels. So, I don't know. I'm ready to let it rip. I'm hopeful, but this is how I've been pretty much every day this week. Is like I wake up, I have a little bit of hope, I'm ready to let it rip. I have these visions of grandeur, and then it just gets taken away from me. It just gets taken away from me. So I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the day where it finally works out and the old account can recover. Or maybe we're just going to be running back what we saw Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of a sudden it's going to go from looking great to me wanting to punch a hole through the wall and just go full Kyle mode and crack a Monster Energy or something like that. But my goal today is to break down what's going on in the overall market. We do have some overall global trade tension, economic news. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the government shutdown. Then we're going to talk about to really how this will be impacting the upcoming remainder of October. And then we have a little bit of individual equity news, because remember, we are in earnings season. And on that particular note, depending on the individual companies you are playing or not playing, you should know that thus far earnings have been strong. Of course, that's another thing that could just randomly change. But we heard, especially in the tech sector, ASML was yesterday, TSM was today. So the AI bubble is still alive and well. Hearing from the financial players, JPM, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab this morning, the financial plays are looking good. So I just want to keep you guys apprised of the fact that yes, we are in earnings season, and you should definitely be paying attention to those, especially if you happen to be playing those individual equities. So we're going to get a little bit into that. Then we're going to get into some stats, facts, and figures of the day. And at that point, the market should be going dingity, ding, ding, ding. And the world's largest casino should be letting us degenerates into the party to see if we could hit it big on the old slot machine today. So I appreciate you joining me so early. It's 9:06 in the morning, which means we are up with the sun. We're up with the farmers. We're up at the crack of dawn. I don't know of any other profession that makes you be up at 9:06 in the morning, but here we are. All right, thus far, stock futures rise as earnings season heats up. So yes, we will be getting into some of those, but you can see right here, TSMC profit surges 39%. The last time I looked at it, it was up about 2% in pre-market trading. You can see we are above the closing value from yesterday on the SPY. In fact, the Qs are actually about to take out the high from yesterday. The Russell even climbing up a little bit, but if you look at TSM right here, it's up actually a nice 2.4% after getting 3% yesterday. So vol still a little elevated, still hanging out above 20, which is a little interesting, but you could probably see the fact that we just don't have much stability in the market. Generally, at least recently, we've had stability readings over 90%. Granted, we're not as low as we've seen it in the past, but we're also only like halfway there. So and we're also happen to be pinned right to a key level of 6,700. So who's going to win it today? Well, your guess is as good as mine. So some of the developments you missed between yesterday and overnight. Besant, the Treasury Secretary, calls China trade negotiator an unhinged wolf warrior. I wanted to share that with you, and I was attempting to come up with additional commentary, but I have no clue what that means at all. Where's he going with that? What in the world is an unhinged wolf warrior? Is this like a furry thing? Does this have deeper economic negotiation ties? What does that mean? An unhinged wolf warrior. Folks, I actually am ashamed to tell you how long this morning I spent thinking about that line right there. An unhinged wolf warrior. Actual commentary from the Treasury Secretary. That will be going down in history. It's written. It's there. It's out in the interwebs. Never going to get deleted. What's that mean? What in the world is an unhinged wolf warrior? Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. We know not long after that, we got followed up with this. Besant floats longer-term China truce after rare earths gambit. I guess being an unhinged wolf warrior deserves a longer-term truce. So I guess it's good. I don't really know, folks. I'm coming to you. An unhinged wolf warrior is apparently good enough to get a longer-term China truce. So I guess maybe this morning things are good. The impossible politics, that means the shutdown is set to drag on. So obviously we have two major, you could say we have multiple things going on right now. One of the big stories is right there, the unhinged wolf warrior, where we kind of don't know what's going on with China. And we know we get these vague comments every day of like, we're making our own cooking oil. And in the middle of it, it sounds like President Xi and President Trump are going to be meeting in South Korea. The other big thing a little bit closer to home is exactly this. The fact that the shutdown is still going on, and it seems like it's going to be going on for a while. Judge blocks federal firings during shutdown for now. So this is the biggest development from the whole U.S. government shutdown as of yesterday, that we know that both sides are, whether they're bluffing or they're serious, but they're coming up with more and more, I don't know, extreme potential bluffs, or maybe they're actually very serious about it. But anyway, this is the most recent one of like, okay, who can get fired, who can't get fired. This is from Bloomberg.
So it means that federal agencies right now have to stop and halt all the plans for the firings that that took place last week. So that means that those people will be able to keep their jobs for now, and that any future rounds of firings, as the White House suggested yesterday, is coming, will also be halted. This is just a temporary block, as you mentioned. They are just paused, and there will be a decision to come later on the merits of the case about whether these can proceed. It was quite a dramatic moment this afternoon, because just before this ruling came out, Russell Vogt, speaking on the Charlie Kirk podcast, said that he expects that layoffs would exceed 10,000 people. Right now, we've seen about 4,000 or so that have received layoff notices. So this is very much a clash of where the White House sees things going, as where the judge came in and said, hey, look, you got to hold your horses here.
Laura, what's the status of conversations among lawmakers on Capitol Hill, among lawmakers and the White House, the Trump administration, just about sort of where we are in this shutdown and where it's going from here? I know there's a lot of concern about back pay. So the president was able to arrange for members of the military to be paid this week by moving some money around. The uncertainty begins to kind of compound and amass as time goes on here. What's the status of those negotiations, so much as there are negotiations here between Republicans and Democrats?
Yes, there are no negotiations happening. The House is still out. They've been out for the full 3 weeks of this shutdown. We're now on day 15. The Senate is in session, but they've continued to vote on the same bill, and they have had no progress. And there's been no really behind-the-scenes discussions happening. You've had small groups of moderate members trying to talk together, but those haven't really yielded anything. But the thing about a shutdown is that the first couple days, there's not much pain. But as the shutdown goes on, the pain compounds. You see, today, this week, and last week, we've had millions of federal workers who have missed paychecks. Military members are getting paid at least this first paycheck, this October 15th paycheck. They'll be paid, but it's unclear if later in the month, if the shutdown persists, if they will. We've already started to see some delays with air travel. Those could mount as the months go on here. So this is very much unknown about how this ends, but we do know that as the shutdown continues, things get more and more painful and unsustainable from a political standpoint.
Not good for any workers, though, that might be furloughed.
Just to add into that, from an economic standpoint, at first, if the government shut down, you don't really see that in GDP. But when it starts to exceed 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, that's where for the actual quarter, you see measurable impacts, as in lowering the GDP. Because remember, the U.S. government is one of the biggest clients for a lot of just national, or really just private businesses within the nation. So it'll be reflected in the GDP, especially the longer this drags on.
Load and not getting paid. But I want to ask you something about this, because it made me kind of scratch my head. Lord, my understanding is that this isn't the final decision on the merits of the case, but also it has to do with union workers. How many of government workers are union workers? I didn't realize that there was a distinction.
Yeah, there's a high percentage of federal workers who are unionized. I don't know the exact figure, but there's a patchwork of unions that represent various agencies, and they've been very involved, in the process here. We really saw them start to mobilize earlier this year in regards to the Doge firings, as that happened very swiftly. This is one of the things that they've kind of realized is they need to get out in front of these cases a lot, because once workers leave the building, they have their badge taken away, they have their email taken away. It's really hard to bring some of those people back, even if they are later. If the firings are later ruled illegal. So you see sort of a change in strategy here of wanting to make sure that those workers don't leave their posts, get out the door while the merits are being decided.
Laura, very quickly here, on the White House schedule, there is a press conference coming up with President Trump and Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. I'm curious if you have any sense of sort of what the two of them are going to be discussing with reporters. And obviously, I imagine we might hear some more here just about the state of the shutdown from them when they field those questions in a few minutes.
Yes, as always, Trump will take a question on a variety of different topics. Even if the topic is focused on the FBI and the Department of Justice. So we'll see exactly how that shapes up. But Trump is almost certainly going to react to this shutdown ruling on the firings, as well as there's been sort of a flurry of news both around the shutdown as well as global issues, China also being top of mind.
All right, so we're not quite sure what they're going to.
So clearly, even though this all started on October 1st, it feels as if recently the impact and how much this is really being discussed, the government shutdown, is picking up at an exponential rate because people are starting to realize that this one is not going to be a short-term one. According to Polymarket, they are currently 77% confident that this will go above 30 days, as in pretty much the entire duration of October. And then looking at Kohrs, this is just skyrocketing. When we first got in here, they're like, okay, how long is it going to be? The shutdown started and everyone's like, oh, about 10 days, 15 days. We're now up to 39 days. Every single time I show you this, a couple days are just getting added in, which shows you that we're in just some form of a stalemate. And it's because they're just not agreeing on anything. Senate rejects funding bill with no end in sight for government shutdown. The government shutdown entered its third week with no viable deal to resolve it. The Senate, for the 9th time, rejected dueling stopgap funding bills as Republicans and Democrats continue to argue for dueling measures. Democrats insist that any funding deal include extending Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are set to expire at the end of 2025. For those of you who are maybe missing out, what does this have to do? It has to do with, actually, I don't know if there's actually a quick way to explain it, but it has to do with credits being given to, one side's going to argue it's not being given to illegal immigrants. The other side's going to argue that it is. From a purely technical definition, are federal dollars being given to illegal immigrants in these credits? No, but even though that's kind of a hit against the Republicans, they're also right in the sense that, remember, the fungible nature of dollars, well, the states are paying that with their own programs, and then they're filling that hole, that financial hole, with dollars they are getting from the federal government. So it's technically a two-step way in which they're pulling it off. And then the argument is like, well, should the federal government care what the states are doing on a local level anyway? And it gets really, really messed up. But it's all about, is the U.S. government, whether state or federal, in one way or another, supporting healthcare for illegal immigrants? That's really what this is all about. If you dive into a little bit more, you can look at some of the things of the big, beautiful bill that the Democrats really don't like, this, that, the other thing. But the TLDR of it is, are federal and or state dollars ending up supporting healthcare for illegal immigrants? That's what the fight is over. And obviously, we're waiting around to see if there is going to be a resolution to it. But remember, as the government shut down, it means that for us here paying attention to the market, every single week, there's a huge amount of things on the list that we are expecting from the major macroeconomic data drops. And then as the government shut down, we're still not getting it. For the month of October, we're supposed to be getting the September jobs numbers. Still not happening because as the government shut down, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is shut down. So not only are we not getting the numbers from them, the job numbers, but they're also not collecting new data. On top of that, we're not getting the CPI report. We were supposed to get that this week. We're not getting the PPI report. There's various other measures that we are expecting to get that are just not going to be released. And obviously in the short term, that just has some implications. We don't know the strength of the economy or the weakness of the economy. But don't forget, at the end of the month, October 28th, 29th, that's the next FOMC decision. As of now, the odds are pretty high that we're going to get another 25 bips rate cut, but really they are flying in the dark. They're just kind of ripping it. And if you listen to Jerome Powell at that Adam Smith, whatever award ceremony it was earlier this week on Tuesday, he was basically saying we're now using data from the private sector, as in we're using some of the data that you can get from banks' earnings and that type of stuff as a high correlation. So they're not necessarily exactly flying in the dark, but obviously it is making the entire thing a little bit more difficult. So as of now, based on the confidence of Polymarket and Kohrs, it looks like not much else is going to be happening. We did get some manufacturing numbers this morning at 8:30. Other than that, it seems like we're just flying in the dark. Tariffs are pushing prices higher and consumers are feeling the hit, Fed's Beige Book shows. So this came out yesterday. Obviously, feel free to check it out, especially if you're paying attention specifically to monetary policy. But the biggest thing I want to let you guys know is the importance of what happened on Tuesday when Jerome Powell was basically saying we might be done with quantitative tightening. I know everyone and their mother and their brother and their sister and their grandma is excited about rate cuts, but the fact that we might be done with QT, quantitative tightening, if you look at history, that actually might be more of a bullish signal than anything else. Not necessarily bullish for the dollar, and that's why we're seeing gold once again rip to a new all-time high. But in terms of the equities market, that is something without a doubt to be paying attention to. Don't forget the fact that we are in earnings season. Yesterday, ASML, this is in the world of semiconductors and AI, did very well. TSMC reported this morning, and they also did very well. TSMC profit surges 39% to beat estimates and hit yet another record on AI chip demand. To give you guys an idea of how this entire ecosystem works, you have upstream, you have downstream. So certain companies such as ASML, which I believe is a Dutch company, they create the high-end machinery that is needed to create these chips. Then a company like TSMC is going to be the fabricator. So they're the company that actually does the creation after buying the machinery from ASML. But then obviously you have to have a certain design, and that's where NVIDIA and AMD and those types of companies come into the overall equation. They come up with the design, ASML makes the machinery, and TSMC is the manufacturer. So that's a part of the stream. Of course, you have things higher up, such as whatever the raw materials and that type. And then obviously you have the consumers like the hyperscalers and OpenAI and that type of stuff below it. But just to give you an idea of how this little portion of the overall river and the ecosystem all fits together. So right now, looking at the machine creator and also looking at the chip fabricator, the numbers are right now are pretty good, especially after a little bit of a summer slump. So that tells me that, hey, man, tech is actually looking pretty good right now. And it's because of these recent reports that you're actually seeing tech pretty strong in pre-market on a relative basis to the overall S&P 500. I mean, we're pretty much at the high from yesterday in the NASDAQ. So just want to call that out. And also right now, TSMC up about 1.9% in pre-market trading. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It's 100% free, always been free, always will be free. My mom will drop it in chat. It's in the description of the video. You get a breakdown. Well, you get cool photos of Piper. You get a breakdown on the market, cheat sheet for earnings. You do normally get all the macroeconomic events, but sometimes they're just getting canceled. So this section is going to have a lot of maybes because it all depends on will the market actually be shut down. But then most useful is probably the seasonality of each individual day, which is probably the most exciting thing that I've seen thus far this morning is this day, Thursday, October the 16th, over the past 27 years worth of data has favored the bulls 61% of the time, a sky high profit factor of 2.36. But what's more exciting is the past 17 years have been nothing but up and away. So this day is seasonally bullish. Now, is it a guarantee? No, I'm giving you the odds. It's 61%. But right there, the fact that you have an 11% edge and you can see the strength of it, when the bulls win, they win with size. When the bears win, it's pretty small. We have a nice climb to the upside, and I'm hoping we basically just continue on what we've already been seeing, at least historically for this day. And just so you know, for tomorrow, it is leaning a little bit more bearish. There was some neutral years, there were some bullish years, but recently there was 2 to 3 years in a row where the bears really dominated to kind of close out this week, at least this time around. So I wanted to share that with all of you. There was also right here, I kind of wanted to go over some of the bigger picture stuff. The S&P 500 attempting to bounce back to this long trend line that we kind of created back in May. But overall, we're just waiting for this giant bar. Do we break to the upside? Do we break to the downside? We created a massive range on Friday, and right now we're just waiting to see which way that range actually breaks. If you look at some of these others, such as Bitcoin, looking a little weak. Last night, it flushed down to 108. It did bounce back, but I'm waiting either for the recovery or the breakdown. Actual gold hitting a new all-time high. I've been saying this every single day of the week. If you're a gold bug, if you've been playing these commodities, gold, silver, I mean, like really all soft metals have been ripping. So another new all-time high. And then obviously that's happening as we still have some inflation concerns as the dollar is being devalued. So it's a smart play. Congrats to you. Ride the trend. As long as the trend is intact, keep your position. If the trend is breaking down, maybe it's time to lock it in. But once again, a huge congrats, especially in the world of gold and silver. You guys are crushing it. All right, AMD, I made a specialty video on this yesterday. If you are interested in AMD, if you're trading AMD, or if you're invested in AMD, you should watch that update video from yesterday because on a relative basis, this particular ticker is showing a lot of strength and it looks like it's getting ready for another technical breakout to a new all-time high. I'm watching SoFi. I'm looking at this higher low. I still have that position. I'm looking for the breakout of 29. Broadcom, same thing. I decided to play this one instead of AMD. Of course, I'm now kicking myself, but still, I like the higher higher low, I'm looking for the follow through above ideally 360 and 365. Oklo, this is the play that just will not stop. This is a nuclear energy play, hit an all-time high yesterday. And man, oh man, it just doesn't chill. Anytime I see a little bit of red, I think, oh, is this going to be it where there's some profit taking? You look at it the next day, it keeps ripping. Palantir, I'm watching this equal low. I'm seeing if it could fall through above 184. Oracle, I'm watching this the higher low, and I'm seeing if it can break 310. Remember, we called that out as a major negative gamma node yesterday. There was a lot of people playing 310, so I'm watching today to see if it could break above it, and obviously even the technical breakout at 312 would be pretty nice. NVIDIA, the biggest stock of them all, recently taking a little bit of a hit because the increased competition between Oracle and AMD, they had that big deal, and obviously that just is competition against NVIDIA. So overall, it's still looking very good, but in the short term, it's just taking a little bit of a breather. Apple, I'm looking at this higher low. I'm wondering if it can actually break above 260, hit a new all-time high. Microsoft, it is technically a higher low, but I was really looking for that follow through in early October, but then because of the overall market, we're taking a bit of a breather. Tesla, I like this flag. I like the higher low. I'm now at this point just waiting for the follow through. And I think the party really gets started above 440, but specifically 450. CoreWeave, it's grinding up, not doing anything too exciting at the exact moment. Coin, nothing. Hood, I'm waiting for the recovery. Hut, this is another hyperscaler crypto data play. It just keeps going. I'm waiting either for the breakout or breakdown. Netflix, not much. It got embroiled in some of that political drama. Not too much. If anything, it's going sideways. Kind of a boring play at this moment. Meta, not really catching a break. I'm waiting to see if it can get back above the 50 EMA. I'm waiting to see if it can break above 740. But this one taking a bit of a hit because of the increased competition, or at least the rumors of potential new social media. So that would just be taking a bit away from it. RUM putting in a higher low. I'm waiting for the breakout of 850. Open putting in a lower high, almost breaking down. The party on Open might be over. Remember, this is a clear pump and dump. It's only a matter of time before it absolutely pukes. I don't know when it will, but it's starting to finally look weak. Qubits hitting a new all-time high yesterday. Rigetti almost hitting a new all-time high. IONQ, for some reason, the laggard within the group. So just wanted to show you some of the major things. I would say right now that the bulls are in control, but not as much as control as they were recently, which kind of brings me to this setup right here. All right, so as you can see, we are at this key level of 6,700. It's a key technical level. It's a key psychological level. It's a key options level, open interest, really. You can see that we finally have some support beneath. This is positive gamma. That is support. It is, as of right now, based on the structure, it's suggestive of any dip will be purchased by market makers, pushing us back up once again to hedge out their books. This is on the 0 DTE basis. When I go to the full chain, I do want to point out that we really only have stability between 6,650 and 6,750. This range, this 100-point range right here, that's where we have a bit of stability. And that's exactly why yesterday, when you get to the top of it, you kind of fall to the bottom of it, you bounce off the bottom of it. That's where we have stability. So a break below 6,650, especially if the structure doesn't change. Of course, the market's dynamic and it can change at any moment. That could puke. But on the flip side, if we break above 6,750, we could get a gamma squeeze, a bullish one to the upside. So once again, this is the full chain. And I just want to let you know that technically we have a little bit of stability right now, but it's only a 100-point region. It's 50 points above and it's 50 points below. So please set those alerts, because if we break in either of those directions, that's where the things can get a little bit crazy. Now bring it back to the 0 DTE. The major thing that jumps out to me is the call credit spread at 6,735. Remember yesterday we saw it at 6,730. So they moved it 5 points higher. And then also there's a negative node down to the bottom here at 6,630. So putting all that information together, these are my key levels of the day. Obviously, as I always do, I mark out the high, the low, and the close. That is the green, the red, and the white. The white box is the transition zone. And then the yellow lines are all the major open interest levels. And the first things I'm watching out of the gate is, do we hold 6,700? And then from there, can we take out yesterday's high at 6,724? And then I'll be looking for this test of the call credit spread at 6,735. So that would be my bull case scenario. The bear case scenario is it doesn't hold 6,700. We come down to 6,670, yesterday's closing value. And then from there, you have the bottom of the transition zone at 6,650. And remember, as I said, that is where things could actually get crazy to the bottom side, because that's where we lose all this positive gamma support. So that's what I'm seeing. Feel free to use those levels. Feel free not to. I don't know. I'm not your mom. And there's no crying in the casino, which is a saying that I've really been having to remind myself of lately, unfortunately. But let's see how this gets rocking today. And I just want to make sure I have this all marked up properly. We have the high, we have the low. We're going to keep going with that 10-minute Orbo trade. I'm ready to let it rip, people. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, what do we see up? Oklo is up 2% in pre-market right now. Vago is up 1.8. All right, we'll see what's going on here. I would say the big pivot level is very evidently 6,700. The Bulls have an interesting shot above it. Below it, the Bears really have the shot below 6,650, but even in here, we might just get kind of absorbed into this transition zone. So I'm going to attempt to be doing nothing at market open, especially in this environment. Generally, that is a rule of mine, to try to not do anything right at market open. Generally, it is. Sometimes I'll find, I don't know, generally a silly, degenerate reason to trade. But anyway, the first thing I'll be attempting to do today, I'm getting a breakout alert on Apple. What is happening with Apple? Potential breakdown. All right. Nothing too crazy, but obviously we're going to be watching that. I will be showing you the flow throughout the day. Let me reload this. Let me reload this. We don't need that. All right, cool. Trying to not do anything out of the gate. Let's see how things stabilize. Recently, we've been seeing a lot of people kind of with trend reversals at 10 a.m. So that's another thing you should keep in mind. But I do want to let you know, can I show you this over here? I am ready. I haven't traded anything yet today. Here's all my funded Apex accounts. Here's my FFN funded futures network accounts. And this is the one you probably care about, the one that I've highlighted on the bottom of your screen. That is the one that I am doing the 10-minute Orbo challenge with. I'm making a video in the background, so we're just collecting data. Thus far, it's 3 for 3. It hit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, currently up $365. I haven't been playing it the biggest. I've just been doing that one trade per day. So that'll be executed somewhere past 9:40. I have to wait for the 10-minute Orbo to play out, which is exactly why I have the 10-minute bar right here. And am I on the right account? I believe I am. 57.8. Okay, so most likely the first trade of the day I'll be doing, I have to at minimum wait the first 10 minutes. So just want to keep you up to date on how everything's going. I still have many of my swing positions, and it's not been a fun ride, folks. I'm going to tell you, it's been taking a lot of emotional capital out of me to deal with all my swing positions right now. And basically, because some of them start to expire tomorrow, I'm in need of a miracle. I'm basically in need of a bullish miracle today. The 5-minute is bearish. The 10-minute is testing. The 30-minute is bullish. The 4-hour is bullish. The 5-minute is bullish. The 10-minute is bullish. The 30-minute is bullish. And the 4-hour is bullish. So right now, the tech sector is clearly bullish. And the shortest term on the really short-term 5-minute chart on the S&P 500 is a little questionable. And so is the 10-minute over here. But to no one's surprise, it might be because of this battle at 6,700, which is roughly, I don't know, we'll call it 667, maybe 75. It's a weird level on the SPY, which is exactly why, hey, if you want to trade the SPY, have at it. But in terms of what levels you should be watching, I would highly recommend you pay attention to the specific levels on SPX itself. That would be a big technical win, a big psychological win, just like legitimately a good bullish win if it can get above it. But however, obviously the bears might defend it and knock us all the way back down to the closing value from yesterday at 6671. So first 4 minutes, not really trending in price. Options were flat for the first 2 minutes, and now the last 2 minutes we've been trending down. The Mag 7 slightly trending up, but looking very, very jagged. So let's just calm, cool, collected. SPY looking a bit weak. The Nasdaq looking a bit stronger on a relative basis. TSM profit taking since market open. Avago popped, giving it back. Is that the biggest gainer on my watch list? Nvidia's up there as well. Palantir's green. Oracle's green. CoreWeave is green. Oklo is down. Tesla is slightly down. AMD is slightly down. SoFi is slightly down. So a little bit of a mixed bag opening thus far. We have some green, we have some red. How are the sectors doing? Energy is slightly down. Financials slightly down. Utilities kind of flat. Industrial slightly down. Healthcare very much flat. Real estate pretty much flat. Consumer staples flat. Consumer discretionary up, then a little bit down. Tech is kind of flat, not really doing anything. Consumer staples, consumer discretionary. All right, that's interesting. All right, so right now we're just not seeing a trend, kind of going through all those individual major sectors. No big trend as of yet, but just to remind you, we're only 5 minutes into the day. We have a lot. We're not even really done with the first portion of the first quarter. Quite a bit of profit taking on TSM still, going from 311 down to 302. I would assume just you have psychological support at 300. AMD, I'm getting an alert on AMD. What is that? AMD just hit a new all-time high. Like I said, if you are trading AMD, if you're invested in AMD, if you're just watching AMD, highly recommend you watch that update video from yesterday because I give you the latest news on AMD. I do an analysis of the price action, but most importantly, an analysis of the option chain and identifying where the big money players are currently set up on AMD. Unfortunately, I don't have a position on AMD at this moment in time. I very much wish I did. Specifically, I wish I made it on Friday the 3rd, but hey, you can't cry over spilled milk. You can't cry over spilled milk. So hopefully semiconductors keep us going. It looks like Tesla might be attempting to push green. AMD was also attempting to push green. We have a clear rejection on the S&P 500 at 6,700, but maybe we're going to be getting that 10 a.m., like the new hour reversal. So we need a bit of patience, but if it gets really close to 940 and we're done with that 10-minute Orbo and it looks like I'm not paying attention, definitely feel free to yell at me because I can't be missing that trade because I do very much need it for some other videos that we are making in the background. And the bot is on. I just want to confirm this. Icarus is fully on. Great. Okay. Icarus is doing what Icarus needs to do. And if anything, am I on the right account right there? Yes, 57. That says 57, 150E, 57. Okay, I am on the proper account, but I'm not on the proper trade size. All right, this is the first 10-minute bar. I'll zoom in just so it's very, very evident. Very, very evident. Here, we'll move this all the way over. And as soon as this bar is done, the first 10-minute bars, which we have about 2 minutes and some change, I'll either be taking the breakout or the breakdown trade, depending on whichever way it breaks first. That is the Orbo trade, the opening range breakout. It can change based on your time frame. You might do the 1 minute Orbo, you might do the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the hour, the 4 hour, whatever it is. It's the first that times first bar of the regular trading hour. So obviously the 1 minute Orbo is from 9:30 to 9:31. The 5 minute is 9:30 to 9:35. The 10 minute is 9:30 to 9:40. You could play the initial balance, which is the first hour. That's from 9:30 to 10:30. I'm doing the 10 minute just because recently it's gotten a little bit more hype and a little bit more acknowledgement from traders for whatever reason on the Twitter sphere. And the video that came out, I gave an analysis of what should your profit target be and how should you play it? And the TLDR is it is not profitable, but it could be made profitable. And when I say it's not profitable to trade in Orbo, I mean it's not profitable to trade every single Orbo in every single direction just because. So for example, the 10-minute Orbo, the question is it profitable for breakout? Should you be breakdown? Should you be playing that every day? No, you shouldn't. But what you could do is add on additional filters to try to only take the high odds ones and then try to parry and like a little just miss certain ones. So really it comes down to don't take it every single day. Only take it when you have other filters that also align with the breakout direction. That's pretty much it. And that's what the big reveal of the video is going to be. And I will, in that video, which we are working on getting other content for right now, I will be breaking that all down so you guys know exactly where you actually have better odds or worse odds, that type of a deal. It's not profitable to be a losing trader. Technically, that is right. Matt, on Apex, if I use code Goonie, do I have to trade right away or can I begin on a later date? I'm still going on my footing on option trading. No, you could buy the account now with code Goonie. You don't have to trade on day one. But I do want to let you know, if you wait more than a month, you're probably going to get hit with a monthly fee. So you're going to, like, I wouldn't just buy it and then sit in excess of a month and not do anything. That wouldn't make the most sense. But Apex is the partner of today's show, and I'm going to give you more on that in a second. Oops. No. The high is 650.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
And what is the low? The low is 40.25.
Order submitted.
All right, 37.
Order
All right,
submitted.
orders are set up. I have an order to buy on the breakout. I have an order to short on the breakdown. Whatever happens first is going to happen. I'll cancel the other orders, and we're going to see how it plays out from there. Not only am I doing this manually on this account, but just so you know, I am also trading it from a robot system on a different account, and I'm trying to understand the way some of the data providers work here. I'm trying to understand if bot trading has better fills or if manual trading has better fills. So as this hits, which it looks like we're about to get the breakdown trade, you're actually going to see two accounts take it. And I'm just kind of curious which one gets better
Order
fills.
submitted.
Well, it wasn't that one. That was actually a horrible fill. That was a very, very bad fill. See what I'm talking about how bad fills are? So you saw that my order to go short was at 40.25. It gave me a fill 2 points later at 38. Riddle me that, Batman. It gave me a fill 2 points later. That's just ridiculous. It gave me a horrible, horrible fill. Actually, I don't need these orders anymore.
Order canceled.
But let's see how this plays out. But I showed it to you guys of how my order was at 40.25. As you can see over here, it gave me a fill at 38. So it was off by 2 points. And in reality, it probably actually would have locked in if it got the appropriate fills. So that's another thing you need to consider. Unfortunately, they're just the nature of SIMDA funded trading. There is some delays in their data because they have to do other account checks of, can your account, is it live right now? Is it able to trade that many contracts? There is other logic that is done in the world of SIMDA funded trading that causes a slight delay. As a manual trader, it would almost be imperceptible. But as an algo trader, especially if you're going for little scalps such as that, it's very, very measurable. Very, very measurable. So something to consider. It's there. There's certain aspects of it that you will not be able to beat. But on the flip side of it, on the old flip side, there is a couple things you can do. First of all, if you're doing systematic trading, you could just make sure you have the fastest code possible. So take your time to write quality code. Oh, this is not going well. That Orbo breakdown with the slippage. This is going to be the video. I know it's kind of like crazy to say it, but in a certain way for the video that we're working on, we were kind of expecting one of the trades to actually go bust because we know it's not net profitable. Like, we did all the research and then we were trying to prove it in real time to see how it plays out. But anyway, one other thing you could do is instead of trading NQ, you could trade ES. ES is the futures contract for the S&P 500. That is something that's a bit more liquid, and it's also just maybe the best way I could describe it is less whippy. So obviously just something to consider. Something to consider. And is this going to... Let's see how this is looking. It got knocked into it. Bad slippage. Never got the fill. And here we are. Here we are. But I am telling you, I mean, well, if you watch the update video, or not the update video, the 10-minute Orbo video that is posted on the other channel, and feel free, it's just out there for free for all of you guys to consume. The odds of just generically trading the Orbo is not good. You can make it profitable, but you have to add on additional filters. Just taking every single breakout and every single breakdown, you will not be profitable. All of the history of the market, the actual data, and as you're seeing it in real time, this took the downside break when the market's bullish. That is like an easy filter where it should have just waited for the breakout. Of course, just because that filter's there, like this one easily could have hit. It wasn't that far away. I mean, geez. Well, now look how bad this is. It's actually only going for 1 point, and it didn't even hit that because of the slippage. That's horrendous. But anyway, this is a very good example of the filter should have been a bullish filter because everything else was trending up. Why would you take a counter trend trade? So in reality, this is not looking good, as you're seeing over here, and that's intentionally why I only had it. I had the manual trade and I had one bot trade, but there was a reason why I'm just not trading it on all of my accounts because I already know it's not profitable. And I think that is a very, very important thing for everyone to pay attention to. Very, very important. Of course, there might be a random vomit and it still might get its fill, but I would not be betting on that whatsoever. I would not. Aren't you supposed to wait for the candle to close below the opening range? Nope, that's not what an Orbo trade is. It's called an opening range.
Order submitted.
Actually, I think Icarus is now disagreeing. Yeah, no, Icarus went the other way. Right here. Icarus is legitimately bullish. So the systems I have that I actually know are profitable, they're going with the trade to the north side. But no, an Orbo trade is not waiting for the bar to close. It's piercing the recent high and the recent low. Is he on the 1 second tick? There's no such thing as a 1 second tick. I'm on the 100 tick chart. So Icarus just locked in. Icarus going the opposite way of the Orbo. So these accounts not looking good whatsoever. And that was as anticipated. You have to have other filters. And actually, they just took the hit. Well, one of them took the hit. The other one's about to take a hit. Is that 93? Yeah, so this one, the one we've been testing, basically it ran for 3 days. It ran into the bad beat. This is the bad beat. Statistically, that was exactly what was going to happen. It happened a little bit earlier than I anticipated. I thought maybe we'd get somewhere between 5 and 10 days. It turns out the bad beat came on day 4. But this is why you don't trade Orbo blindly. Do not trade it blindly. Do not do that. I promise you, I've done extensive research into all of the stats of every single Orbo, and you can make it good, but if you're just taking every single one every single day blindly, it's not going to end well. That's interesting. It would make sense to wait for the candle to close outside the range for confirmation. No, it wouldn't. That's just not what the Orbo trade is. That could be a different trade, and maybe that's something you're going to do, but by definition, that's not what an Orbo trade is at all. It's the opening range breakout, which is either to the upside or to the downside. The break is the second it happens. By definition, that's what breaking it is. I'm not trying to argue with you that this model, I guess I'm just trying to clarify we're all on the same page of what the trade is, but please don't take it as me saying, oh, no, like this is the way to trade it and you're going to make money, because I know it's not. Once again, you can turn it into a way to make a lot of money. You definitely can, but it would involve you skipping a decent amount of trades and only taking the trades when you have higher conviction, i.e. it's what's with some overall trend, whether you're looking at the EMAs, whether you're looking at the options. But like even for today, I think we all kind of knew that, well, hang on, wait, why is it going short when all the pre-market session was actually pretty bullish? That doesn't make the most sense. So this was a good example of, I would have skipped this. I would have never taken this breakdown trade, and Icarus didn't. Icarus waited actually for the recovery because the overall trend was already to the upside. One little key I could give you guys when you're working on your trading systems, whether it's robotic, mechanical, or just trading from your gut, life is going to be easier if you're trading with the overall trend. So for example, this was a breakdown trade. Like it took the Orbo to the south side, but why, when the trend is up, 30 minutes are up, 5 minutes is up, 10 minutes is up, 4 hours up. By any definition, we all agree 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, and 4 hours up. Why would you take the 10-minute breakdown? It doesn't make sense. You're going against the trend. So that's one tip I could give all of you guys in here is if you're working on it, see how it wicked it right there? It barely went below, knocked it into the trade, and said, nah. This should have been a skip day. It broke to the downside, which was the opposite of the overall trend. This day should have never had a trade. Great accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Let's see. I have no fucking clue. People say shit like that. And like, I find it hard to believe that overcomplicating basic concepts is the best way to trade. There's no way that, I mean, people try to teach this stuff because it sounds fancy, and then you get into this like really weird cycle of, okay, like I dedicated a bunch of time to learn all these fancy ass sayings from whatever random dude, so like you just, because you put time and effort into it, you think it's valuable. But like even that, like, dude, it's just support and resistance. It's just flow. It's aggressive buying or aggressive selling, and it's reaction to key levels. And it seems like every generation of trader, they regurgitate what the last generation was doing, but then they slap a bunch of new titles onto it and new sayings to make it seem as if it's new and fresh. But there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun.
Order submitted. Target filled. Target filled.
So Icarus took the long trade and the short trade. So right here, this is the difference between cutting it both ways and then just taking a random ass. Oh, and actually this one held on long enough. The manual one got a better fill. That's interesting. Or excuse me, the manual one got a worse fill. I think by a weird miracle right here. Wow. This was the other Orbo breakout. It didn't get blown out. Look at that trade. It took the breakdown trade, and I guess it did it with enough size that, or a low enough size that it didn't get blown out all the way up here and rode it all the way back down. But you see the fill? That's the only difference. This one got a fill at 25,040, while the manual trade got a fill at 38. But it was the same trade. That's the difference between really this account blown out. It lost it right at the top here, but because the other one got a slightly better fill, it was able to withstand that, almost got blown out, came all the way back down and actually hit its profit target. How crazy is that? Just that little bit of a difference. The slight difference in slippage was literally the difference between this account not surviving and this account actually hitting $225 in profit. Wild. Same trade. One was manually, the order was there. The other one, a robot executed the same order. And just because of that slight differential in slippage, one account was a loss, one account actually hit its profit. And in the meantime, better systems actually right here, you can see Piper took advantage of the bullish trade, Piper took advantage of the bearish trade, made money on both sides. Wild. All right, as you can see, the S&P 500 is having a hell of a time at 6,700 to the surprise of literally no one. Right now, we're still effectively range bound. I'm waiting for the change of the hour at 10 a.m. The Mag 7 was up, kind of went back down, then got a big push to the upside, even though price isn't really showing it. The S&P 500, pretty much the same thing, flat, down, up, and then gave it all back. So just a lot of whippiness. Kind of reminds me a little bit of yesterday. This is the third test of 605. This is the third test of 666.50. Maybe a base is found here, maybe not. All I can tell you is that we've seen dramatic intraday reversals right after the 10 a.m. hour for not only this week, but for the past X amount of weeks. So I'm doing my best to not really do any manual trades or manage my swing positions. I'm just trying to be calm, cool, collected. Yes, Rumble takeover. Hell yeah. I've been betting against the economy for 5 years and I'm rolling 175% gains. We're in a bubble, people. No, you're not. There is no way you've been betting against the economy. That's stupid. Shut up. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You've been betting against the economy for the past 5 years and you're trying to tell people that you are up. So we're in 2025. Let's go all the way back to 2020. Yeah. Looks like you're making a ton of money. You're so full of shit. Shut up. This is like the internet says the dumbest shit, and then people, this is a smart thing to be betting against. Yeah, I'm sure you made a ton of money betting against the economy in the past 5 years, because it's not like we literally just hit an all-time high. Congrats on being a liar. Like, dude, if you're gonna lie, at least make it like somewhat hard to prove. Make it somewhat hard to prove. So stupid. So dumb. Anyone can just bring up the chart and be like, oh, yeah, sick. So dumb. So dumb. Yeah, betting against the economy. When did we hit the all-time high? We hit an all-time high on Thursday the 9th. It is the 16th. We hit an all-time high. Real smart to be betting against the economy. So stupid. But that's the internet for you. They let anyone say whatever they want. I wish I was in Discord. I'd live share my Fidelity. That's fine. We don't really need people like you in the Discord. We don't need people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about and act as if they do know what they're talking about. There's a lot of great people who are trying to learn things and ask phenomenal questions and work with others, but we don't need people like you who are confident that they're right but inherently have no idea what they're talking about. It's not really for you. It's all right. 15 of those things. Life saving on SoFi gonna be my retirement. How is SoFi doing? Well, it's down today. You got me all excited. I need SoFi to pop. I do have a short-term play on it. I'm in Oracle. Remember the breakout on Oracle's 310, which is surprise, where it got rejected yesterday and again today. Please, here, I'll just set up an alert on Oracle. Let me know if this actually breaks out and holds 310, because it's been struggling at that resistance, but let's see if it can actually get going above it. So there's Oracle. CoreWeave, we don't really need that today. Tesla, would love for that to get above 440. Palantir is off to the races. NVIDIA is catching a nice bid. Broadcom is not doing anything. So Palantir is looking good. AMD, so here, let me move this up. Palantir is looking really good. AMD is looking really good. Already hit a new all-time high. Avago, no. NVIDIA is picking up. Oracle's also looking decent. Tesla, maybe. What else is looking good, folks? Apple, Microsoft catching a bit of a bid as well. I don't mind that. All right, here we are. We're just going to be testing 6,700 again, folks. This is it. Maybe we break, maybe we don't. All I can tell you is this is going to be the battle. If the Bulls win, you are watching the high from yesterday, 6,724. And then from there, 6,735. And if the Bears win, you're looking for the intraday low followed by 6,671. That's how it goes. Personally, I'm hoping that the bull case plays out, but obviously it's always good to know the bull case and bear case, because then that gives you an idea where if you're wrong, well, okay, you know where you're actually wrong and what would have to happen to prove that you are in fact wrong. Here's a look at the Mag 7 flow. The fact that the Mag 7 is popping up makes me a little bit more optimistic, but I'm literally saying that as it just took a hit. And then the S&P 500 got hit pretty hard from 945 to 950. There was 5 minutes of put buying, call selling, and then we try to recover, and it literally, just as I switched to this screen, took another hit as we were heading into the 10 a.m. hour. And let's see if anything is updated on the day. As you can see, there's clear gamma resistance right here. Call credit spread at 6,735. So that's something to consider for the reach target. But first, we have enough of an issue at 6,700 that we got to figure that one out before we could even talk about 6,735. So paying attention to that. There is a hedge wall at 6,680, and then I see some positive gamma down here at 6,645, 6,650. So a little bit of negative gamma in here right below 6,700. So it could get a little bit whippy, and that's actually exactly what we've been seeing right now. Warren got axed. Must have said something to piss off Chaos. Well, that sucks. Maybe you shouldn't have been saying dumb shit. That's on you, brother. That's on you. All right, we are almost at the 10 a.m. hour, which means, are we going to see a reversal? Which is kind of confusing, because what would the reversal even be today? We're not really trending. The Qs try to get above the high, try to get above the high. The SPY tried to get above 6,700, but as of now, no cigar. You have to be patient. We are not trending. We are not moving. Just wait, just wait, just wait. The Mag 7 is making me a bit more optimistic for a bullish breakout, but let's see. The S&P 500 is not bringing me joy at the moment. I would much prefer to see this delta really popping. I want to see puts getting sold. I want to see calls getting bought. I want to see a lot of enthusiasm, which is, as of this exact moment, not happening. But let's wait for the 10 a.m. hour. Let's wait. Let's wait. How are we looking on momentum? 5-minute on the S&P 500 is bearish. 10 minutes testing. 30-minute is still bullish. 4-hour is still bullish. On the NASDAQ, the 5-minute is bullish, the 10-minute is bullish, the 30-minute is bullish, and the 4-hour is bullish. So across the board, the tech sector, relative to the S&P 500, the NASDAQ is looking stronger at this moment. At this moment. We are trying to break out of that pre-market high. We've tried multiple times already today. This is on NQ right there. We tried. We're having a tough time. The breakout is at 25,100. Could end up being a very important pivot level of the day. Obviously, your confirmation would be taking out the intraday high at 25,125, which I would love to see. But here we are. We are not doing shit right now. All right, 10 a.m. We are 30 minutes in, and this is, at least over the past couple days, past couple weeks, where we've started to see some shenanigans. Somewhere between 10, maybe 10:15, somewhere right after the change of the hour is like where we've been seeing some interesting pivots, whether to the upside or to the downside. So I'm curious if we're going to have that today. And if we do have it today, I'm curious which direction we're going to go. So let's just calm, cool, collected. We don't need to rush anything. There's nothing really to be seen right now. The SPY's not doing anything. The Qs aren't doing anything. Palantir is looking good. AMD was looking good, giving a little bit back. Oracle is looking good. Tesla is looking good. Avago is picking up. Some of these tech names are looking strong, being led kind of by Palantir. Palantir's up 2.4%. AMD is losing a little bit of it. Oracle almost got that 310 breakout. Remember, there's a lot of negative gamma at 310. Microsoft was trying to trend up. Avago is now. Tesla was trying to get going. Yeah, Oracle and Palantir, man, those are looking pretty good. I'm not saying that's an exhaustive list. Of course, there might be other things, but just on the quick little check that I did. Palantir. Is Palantir going to lead us to the promised land? Palantir, technical breakout. Taking out that high from yesterday, setting up the test of pretty much the recent high at 188, which is within spitting distance of the all-time high at 190. Probably a worthwhile spot on your watch list. Look for that break of 188 and then the test of the all-time high. But Palantir looking strong. Here's an idea of the flow on Palantir today. Look at it's just ripping. This is what I wish the Mag 7 looked like. This is what I wish the S&P 500 looked like. But no, Palantir, some put selling, but it's a lot of call buying. And it really got going at 945. But you look at that Delta RAM. That's what brings up price so much, is just people are ripping calls and they're selling puts. So probably worth a spot on your watch list. And as that's happening, the SPY and the Qs look as lethargic as could be. Where's the VIX at? The VIX is picking up? Why? Why in the world is the VIX picking up right now? What do VIX traders know that we don't know? Because the SPY and the Qs are doing nothing. Anyone seeing any news on why the VIX might be picking up? Why in the world? We're picking up to, I don't know, some random level that we had early this morning. Why in the world is the VIX picking up? We're not doing anything, brother. Here's the VIX. This is actually one of the most boring early morning sessions we've seen on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ in a minute, but the VIX is getting elevated. Makes you wonder if they know something we don't know. All right. Well, as we're waiting for clearly something to happen, either we go up or down. Reminder, Apex is the partner of today's stream, but most importantly, the current deal ends in 15 hours. This is the last day. Not only do you get 80% off with that code Goonie, but you can upgrade from the eval to a performance count for a lifetime fee of $85. It is dirt cheap. So it is very cheap to buy the eval, but what's special about this deal right now is the upgrade from eval to performance. You have 15 hours left. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Use that code Goonie, Goonie. We'll get you the 80% off and we'll get you in on that deal. Looks like we might be breaking to the downside. At least the VIX broke out. Here, let's go to the 3-minute. Let's start consolidating some of this data. It's not convincing though. I see the VIX popping, of course. But even this, it is, even though it's trying to get knocked here, there are buyers stepping in. What can we see on this? There's a lot of buyers on NQ at 25,020. The point of control is at 25,066. You have some sellers up here at 25,080. VWAP is down at 25,033. So we're in between the point of control, which is this yellow line, and VWAP, which is all the way down here, roughly where that low was. So actually, I think we might have just seen a basic run-of-the-mill VWAP bounce. Watch 80 for the breakout here for as a day trader, scalp trader. If it can overcome this point of control, look for the pop back up to 80. That's where you have a lot of sitting sell orders. There's a lot of sitting buy orders right here at 50. Is it going to tap 50? Rejected at the point of control. Bouncing off of these buy orders. Remember, this heat map, if it's the heat map below current price, those are sitting buy orders. If the heat map is above the current price, those are sitting sell orders. Passive sell orders up top, passive buy orders below. The circles, these spheres are a measure of the aggression. If it's green, those are aggressive buy orders. The buyer traversed the spread and hit the trade on the ask. And if it's red, that is aggressive selling, where the seller traversed the spread and hit the trade on the bid. So it gives you an idea of aggression. So this was aggressive selling. This was aggressive buying. Aggressive selling turned into aggressive selling at these sitting buy orders, which right now we're going to see. And it's more aggressive buying to get through 80. So that's what those spheres are all about. A little bit of a wick down. That was painful. I'm sorry if you got caught up in that, because something, like I told you, right at 10 a.m., weird things have been happening. It's to the point where I've on some of my strategies, I think we just got to break out on Oracle. On some of my strategies, I actually don't let it trade between 9:55 and 10:05. I technically don't do that on all of them, but just because we've been noticing this phenomena over the past, 4 to 6 weeks, some of my strategies, even though they're turned on earlier and then turned on later, I actually make that a blackout period. No trades between 9:55 and 10:05, just because of stuff like this. Like it's just weird stuff. But to be fair, I also don't do it on every single one. Folks, I know it's boring, but hey, sometimes that is the market. Don't force trades that aren't there. What I'm looking for is this recent high that we saw at 955. I'm looking for the S&P 500 to get above that, and the NASDAQ, same thing. Look at that 955 high. Above that, we have a real shot, but it's all coming down to this. Will the S&P 500, will the bulls win this battle at 6,700, or will the bears win it? As you can see, we made an attempt. Well, you could argue we made an attempt right at market open. Bears won. The bulls made a stronger attempt. The bears won again. And ever since then, we're just going nowhere. We're not trending. Nothing is going on. You just got to wait. If the trade isn't there, sit on your hands, go for a walk, go get a snack, go hit the stair stepper, go catch some shrimp on old school RuneScape. But you should not be forcing a trade if it is not there. Obviously, on this break of the 955 high, gets a little interesting because you could take that breakout. You could risk the recent low. At first, it's 1-to-1, but if you're confident in the continuation, I get it. Not necessarily my favorite trade. But remember, one of the easiest ways to really have confirmation with it is to look at the options flow as well. Is the derivatives market agreeing with your trade? That is probably one of the best filters you could add on to your trading. Is the options world going in the same direction as your trades? Oh, this is not a fun reversal thus far. Our triple bottom, quad bottom, are we going to bounce out of it, or are we about to puke? Mag 7, not really indicating anything. The S&P 500 is indicating a bit of bearishness. We're pretty much at this delta low, but maybe this is the most extreme. Maybe. 666, the devil's number, becoming support. This is an interesting tug of war. The bulls can't get the breakout. The bears can't get the breakdown, which means we are all stuck in purgatory. We are all stuck in purgatory. All right, what are the hot movers of the day? SPX, SPY, GLD, Tesla, and the Q. So gold and Tesla is getting a lot of action right now. Tesla, why? Daily chart, nothing of note. Intraday chart, nothing of note. I guess something's going on because it's heavily traded. And then GLD is just, everyone's stoked about gold. It hit another new all-time high. And I know I sound like a broken record, but that's just what's been going on ever since. It just keeps going. If you are a trend following trader, don't try to pick levels. If you were trying to pick levels, you would have already been out and you would have missed a lot of this gain. Be a trend following trader. Don't have a profit target. Ride the trend. Your goal isn't to bottom tick or to top tick. Your goal is to get the meat of the move. You don't know how big the move is going to be, so you're not bottom ticking. You're not top ticking. Ride the trend as long as it's intact. When the trend starts to break down, that's when you lock in and move on with your life. This idea of just like, oh man, like I got to know the exact top value. That's a very silly way to engage in something that has such a strong trend. GLD is the ETF tracking gold. So here's gold as the futures market, the actual commodity. GLD is on the equities market. It's an ETF, an exchange traded fund that is backed by gold. So if you're looking for it on equities, have fun. If you're looking for it on futures, have fun. It's just ripping. I have some gold in my long-term account, my investment account, not currently actively trading it, but I am jealous of all of you who are, because this is just crazy. How in the world is vol up right now? Someone's going to have to riddle me that. Why the fuck is the VIX up? The VIX is pricing in something, but what? What in the world is the VIX pricing in? I'm not seeing any dramatic new trades. No. They were pretty much there. What? The VIX's movement. I'm surprised. I'm definitely surprised about the old VIX. All right. SPY new intraday low. The Qs. What are we doing there on the Qs? Is the party getting undone? VIX just broke out to new intraday high. The VIX was definitely kind of front running some form of signal to us. VIX was definitely. PD my stop spamming. No one wants you to spam. Just stop. You could be an adult. We don't need people to spam over and over again. Jesus Christ. SPY intraday low, Q's not far away. And what time is it? Icarus is still turned off. Icarus will not be trading until after the first hour now. So we have at least another 18 minutes. Oh my God. All right, I'm timing this guy out. Fuck him. Put user in timeout. Congrats. You can shut the fuck up now. Dude, just don't. It's not hard. Don't spam. Like, it's not a difficult concept for an adult to raise their head around. Wrap their head around. Raise their head around. Wrap their head around. Just don't spam. Chill. Just chill. All right, we are now at the point of, well, at first we had higher highs and lower lows, which is the expanding microphone pattern, which I would deeply argue is the hardest pattern to trade from just a pure technical standpoint, because when you have a higher high and a lower low, which we made back to back, how do you define trend? The bulls are getting more aggressive and the bears are getting more aggressive. By definition, what is that trend? So that's what we saw basically in the first 15-ish minutes, the first 20-ish minutes, which is, I would very, very much give the advice that that is the telltale sign to just wait, to just not do anything. When you get a higher high and a lower low, especially back to back, how do you define trend? Just chill. You don't need to rush anything. Just wait to see which way it's going. And since then, you can see from 9:45 till now, we actually have lower highs and lower lows. So it's a bit more bearish. I don't want to do it just because I'm not seeing options. The Mag 7 is holding steady. The SPY did actually just randomly vomit there at 10:10. You could even see that flow alert. It was call selling and put buying. I just need a little bit more data to go off of right now. But it does look like my levels are coming to fruition. Rejected twice at 6,700. We snapped that low. We're at the high from 2 days ago, 6,681. And at this point, a natural target. If you are playing this, which I want to be very clear, I am not playing this. But if I were, I would be targeting the closing value at 6,671. I'd probably take my profits right at 6,672, something like that. But we'll see. We'll see. For those of you maybe looking for a reversal, maybe a little something like that, maybe watching this trend line right here on SPX, obviously connecting the intraday high at 946 to the next high at 1006. These carrots, the green carrots and the red carrots, are your local highs and your local lows. If you want that on your screen on Well, it is a free indicator. I have no association with this at all. It's called fractals. If you search Williams fractals, it's a free indicator. So you could throw that. IWM and VIX look correlated right now, at least more so than, well, think about how silly that statement is. Just because something looks to be going in the same direction, does that mean there's actually a correlation? Think about it. The VIX is the volatility of the S&P 500. Do you think that the Russell is moving in the same direction of the volatility of the S&P 500? Come on, guys. Come on. I would understand that confusion if you didn't know what VIX was, but are you really trying to make the statement that the volatility of the S&P 500 is directly correlated with the Russell 2000? Come on. Come on, don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. If you know what the VIX is, if you know what the Russell is, you would never make that. If you're new and you're like, well, I don't know what the fuck that is, that's fair. And at a certain point, we all have to learn it. But if you have been trading at all, and you know what the VIX is, and you know what the Russell is, if you think those are directly correlated, I have a fucking bridge to sell you. I have a bridge to sell you. All right, a little bit of a wick down. Like I said, when you have that expanding pattern, it is a difficult one to play. I've been holding a heavy position on SOUN for a few months, currently up about 100%. They are call options at 22 expiring tomorrow. Do you think market makers are keeping the price below 22? Is that a common thing? No, it's not. Market makers literally just provide liquidity. They are not intentionally keeping prices above or below certain values. Based on their book's exposure, they're going to react to certain prices to make sure that their risk is nothing. But they literally just, as people trade, they are taking the other side of the trade. They don't give a shit about breakouts or breakdowns. All they care about is hedging out their book and volume, because they make money the more people that trade, because they're traversing the spread. IWM often shows movement sentiment on SPY. No, it doesn't. You're literally just trying to point out the fact that when the index goes up, other index goes up. I've never seen a single shred of evidence that IWM shows movement sentiment. What's that even mean? What in the world does that mean? IWM shows movement sentiment on SPY. You just took a lot of like random words in the world of trading and put them together to try to have like a statement. And I guess congrats on putting words together that are somewhat market related words, but what the fuck does that possibly mean, man? Like, what in the world does IWM often shows movement sentiment on SPY? What the fuck? What's that mean, dude? Yeah, that's movement sentiment. That's some movement sentiment. And then other people just end up regurgitating. I'm even now regurgitating it. Look at that. The movement sentiment we're seeing, folks. The movement sentiment. I honestly, this one's not even that bad because I could see if you make a couple leaps of how it's not really that far away from like an actual statement on the market. But I have to admit, one of my favorite things in the world of like the AMC and GME days was when people did that, but it was egregious. Like they would literally just like put a slop sentence together of somewhat trading terms and be like, fucking market makers in the dark pools, guys. The old market makers in the dark pools. Like it had no context. That statement, like I said, it's only like one or two steps away from like being sensible. I'm kind of picking on them. But it does give me flashbacks to the AMC and GME days, which were my favorite with that type of shit. Like were absolute, like, oh, it was so much fun. Just nothing. 100% nonsensical. And then other people would like it, retweeting like, hell yeah, this is why Wall Street's trying to keep us down, man. What was the Besant thing? The unhinged wolf warrior? Is that what it was this morning? My brain is breaking. Because that actually might be that's what's happening today. We're dealing with an unhinged wolf warrior. I'm reading this while making a sentimental movement. A reverse bear attack pattern, yeah. The fucking Pikachu. It was a lone wolf? I thought it was a wolf warrior. Make movement sentiment a slow song for tunes and tendies. Shout out Chaos. There's a request for movement sentiment, a slow song for tunes and tendies. It's tendies and tunes, KPT. Get it right. I think we also need an unhinged wolf warrior song as well. Can we get that? Chaos, can we whip up an unhinged wolf warrior song? The greatest trader that the world's ever seen? the song of the unhinged wolf warrior. Yo, Oracle's doing something. Am I up on Oracle? Is it too late to get into AMD? I have no idea. I don't know where it's going. And I don't know which direction you want to get into it at. And hang on, I'm looking if anything's going on. Sorry, my brain froze there because I didn't know if I should tell you guys. I think I'm getting sick. I woke up, and you know how sometimes you just feel like something's off in your throat? And like, you're at that point where you're questioning it, and you're like, am I fucking getting sick? But you feel fine. Like, everything's kind of fine, except like there's just that weird feeling in your throat. Almost like there's like a little bit of a lump or something. You're like, something's off. And then inevitably, 2 days later, you're fucking dying. That's how I felt this morning. So let's hope that my body can win this battle. Because I know I seem fine now. Because you're looking at me, you're hearing me, you're like, well, that's your normal nasally voice. But you're hot as ever. Your hair looks great. Like, Matt, you can't be getting sick. But there's something there. And it's so slight. It's to that point that you like question. You're like, is something off? Or is it not off? That's where I'm at in my life. Sorry if I'm sharing. Ooh, we got a little bit of a reversal. We were getting lower highs and lower lows, and the SPY is now taking out the recent highs. So this might just be that little fuck around.
Order submitted.
Oh, wait, that isn't right. No. Which direction? That trade shouldn't have happened. I might get a freebie here. I got lucky. That trade wasn't supposed to happen, team. That trade was not...
Order submitted.
Oh, shit. I just accidentally turned on one I wasn't supposed to turn on. This day is falling apart.
Target filled.
All right, well, it worked anyway. Well, should have learned my lesson there. That was a little silly. It worked. Here's your... I don't think that was right, though. In fact, I'm like fairly confident. Matt is an unhinged Buffalo Warrior. I am like the yin to the unhinged Wolf Warrior's yang. Like, it's just me. It's me, the unhinged Buffalo Warrior, against, I guess, the Chinese trade negotiator, the unhinged Wolf Warrior. I mean, I even told you guys, I don't think it was supposed to turn on till 10:30. I sometimes think that AI is just taking over and it's going rogue. Like, I never assume that I'm making coding mistakes. I think my AI is just like, fuck you, Kohrs. You don't know what you're doing. You guys ever get that feeling with your code? Do you remember Lunatic Stephanie something? LOL. Yeah, she was the crazy fucking dark pool lady. That was the worst interview I've ever done. Quick question. How many of you in the audience right now were around when that interview happened? The lady who said she, while monitoring the dark pools, has predicted every terror attack that's ever happened. This was circa 2021. Like, she was legit fucking nuts, dude. She's like, I hate to say it, but like at that time, that crazy shooting in Vegas had happened. She's like, I knew it was going to happen. Like, that was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. That was the worst content I've ever made. That was the worst interview I've ever done. I was trying to be respectful, so I didn't really want to call her out, but it was nothing but just utter fucking bullshit. Utter bullshit. What was her name? Stephanie something. Stephanie, the crazy lady. Dude, I can't, like, imagine, like, and she said it with confidence. She was like, I knew about terrorism because I monitored dark pools. It's the vibration. Remember that? Yeah, what was that guy's name? That dipshit who had like an algo that was never wrong, except he only ever had losing trades. What the fuck was his name? Yeah, he's like, there's vibrations at this price. BitBoy is probably more crazy. I don't think so, man. BitBoy just likes to party, you know? Like, we've all been there. She was literally stating that she predicted all terror events by reading dark pools. Bam Investor, that was it. That fucking lunatic. Oh, those were the days. Those were the days. The vibrations. It's just my model is suggesting we have vibrations at this level. Yeah, fucking. I guess it takes all types to make the world go round. That guy got hacked. Who was that other one? Do you guys remember Ape Father? This is really pulling on it. This is testing you guys if you have the lore of AMC back in the day. Do you guys remember that guy? He, like, this is like top tier, like, you were there in the middle of all the shit if you remember Ape Father. He tried to sue us once, actually, because we made a shirt that said Ape Father. Fuck. Super early on. And then months later, he made his channel. After we were actually at that point, we were already done selling the shirt. And retroactively, he wanted to sue us because he made a YouTube channel called Ape Father months after we sold the shirt that said Ape Father. And he wanted like copyright or something. And we're like, you're fucking stupid. Like, so dumb. He stole my, yeah. So that's what's funny is he made it and he stole our art for it. And then he tried to say it was copyright, even though we're like, dude, we've made this all before. We have the proof. Oh, man. Review dork. Oh, yeah. He was always talking about, what was it? His line? It was always coke and hookers. He like was trying to be cool and edgy with that joke. He's always like, yeah, like coke and hooker money. It was super cool and super funny, and that's why we're all big fans of him. I remember we're all huge fans. Who was that girl who flew banners? I know who you're talking about, but her name escapes me. I know she was accused of stealing a lot of that money. What the fuck was her name? It was something. And I don't know. Like, I'm just saying that's what she was accused of. I obviously have no idea if it was true or not. But she raised a lot of money to fly banners that were just basically either in support of AMC or the Apes or specifically anti-Citadel. And then months later, people was like, so where's all the money? So that was another one. And I don't know, maybe they did account for it. Maybe they didn't. At that point, I stopped paying attention and stopped giving a shit. But wild times. Wild times. It was very interesting from a psychology standpoint to see like what took hold in that community and what didn't. I mean, it's just crazy even in a general sense. Like, think about how insane it is that people followed Trey. Like, if you watch 1 second of that guy, you just know he's as dumb as a box of rocks. And people thought he was the guy that was going to be informing them about one of the most complex systems known to man. And they're like, yeah, this guy, he's spot on. But then anyone who has like a functioning brainstem, like literally you just see him and you're like, oh, like whatever, you're dumb. Like, that doesn't mean he's necessarily a bad guy. I wouldn't ever call him malicious. Well, now I would call him malicious. But at the time, it's interesting. It's interesting because like I feel like in a certain sense I was like diametrically opposed to him. I think we had very different personas and very different vibes. And maybe that's why we both had a following, is because people were looking for different things, and based on what you were looking for, maybe you found the person that you resonated with the most. But it always blew my mind that things like, why would people just donate money to a stranger for them to fly a banner? Why would people follow a fucking meth head, AMC Bigums, and think that he somehow knows more about the financial system than anyone else? Like, the dude, like, I don't know if he actually smokes meth or not, but he definitely looks like he smokes meth. He definitely acts like he smokes meth. I like Trey. He's entertaining. Yeah, but he's also a liar. That's like the issue, is like you got duped into his entertainment when he was a paid stock promoter and lost all of his money and is now egregiously in debt. I like when he called you beefy. I still use that. Beefy? I don't remember that one, but I think that's a fair criticism. I think you guys at this moment in my life could call me beefy. I'm a little beefy. I can't. The best thing that came from Trey was thick Kohrs. He didn't come up with that. That was you guys in chat when we played this CNBC documentary. You guys were making fun about how big my legs were. You guys in chat started calling me thick Kohrs, and then it became a thing on Twitter. But it was like, I remember it was, we played that. I was sitting on the couch and you guys made me pause the video and zoom into my legs. And everyone's just like, you fat fuck, you thick motherfucker. Like, just like I had that. There was one day where the entire internet was accusing me of being like the fattest person alive. You know, I think I'm stronger for it. Why didn't you call him out on the Charles Payne show? Because Charles hasn't invited me back on because AMC ended in shit. LO Trey did 1,000 account recently. Yeah, and he blew it out in like 2 weeks. It's sad. I mean, in a certain sense, I feel bad for him. I'm torn on it because sometimes I feel bad because he's in major debt and he fucked up his life and he was gifted an opportunity to get out of the shit life that he had. And I think because of the people around him, he fucking fumbled it, which is sad. But then on the other side, he's a paid stock promoter. And at a certain point, you have to be an adult and take maturity, or be mature and take ownership of your actions, takes responsibility for your actions. Houston Wade was wholesome to watch and talked about other interests. Didn't he get sued into oblivion? Whatever happened with him? I think someone sued him, or he had weird legal troubles. Like I don't know what it was, but he did something that you're very much supposed to not do. Matt, did you see AMC dark pool prints over 75 million? No, and I don't give a shit. And the reason I don't give a shit is because people don't understand what dark pools are. I've been both fat and skinny shamed. They both suck. I guess. I mean, I don't really care about it. Like, I thought it was more funny. I mean, literally my Discord name to this day is still Thick Kohrs. Sign the contract, bid boy. I think you mean thick boy. Remember T guy? No, now you guys are starting to pull on people that I don't even remember. Astro, I remember him. I don't know what happened to him. He hated me at first, and then he like called me a couple times, and we were all fine. But oh, wait, who is the craziest of them all? Oh fuck, what was his name? The guy who was this is the most, okay, if you know this, you know the most extreme lore of AMC. Who was the guy who was like a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, and then he went crazy and he live streamed himself like breaking and entering on the property, and then he got arrested and he live streamed the whole thing? Who was that? What was it? It wasn't Lou. It wasn't Short the Vix. AMC, no, it was Godpill. It was Godpill. Dude, that was nuts. The guy literally live streamed. If you guys missed this, it was one of the way before I was saying my interview with Stephanie was the worst piece of content ever. The best piece of content ever. This guy live streamed himself getting arrested, and he was breaking into a church. Like, dude, what? Oh, it was crazy. It was absolutely, we were all just sitting there. There's thousands of people just watching this guy, and like he put his camera and like, dude, it was so fucking insane. Oh, if only we could return. Those were the times. Those were the times. People just live streaming themselves getting arrested and fucking blowing up their life. Blowing up their life. Sign the contract, prove yourself. How do I have to prove myself when I am bigger, I make more money, I have larger reach, I've done more impressive, the prove yourself things? What? Prove myself to a fucking nobody? A paper trader? This idea of trying to prove yourself to a person who's a paper trader hawking a $4,000 class that has no measurable success at all. It's just, I paper trade. What's the point?
Order submitted.
What's the point?
Target filled.
Here, I'll prove myself. My robots make money for me live.
Target filled.
I don't have to do anything. I'm scared, yeah. I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking in my boots right now. You guys caught me. You caught me. I'm shaking in my boots. How will I ever recover? You guys aren't wrong. Ask my producer. After every single stream and before I go to bed every single night, I call him weeping like a old-timey widow from the 1500s. I'm just weeping, and I just cry to him about how scared I am. And he actually has to calm me down after every single stream, and he has to tuck me in every single night. My producer has actually recently taken on the role of a therapist because he can hear just the quiver within my voice. Like I'm just a weeping widow. And it's been actually really, really hard for him to edit my videos recently because it's just me crying the other time. It's borderline paranoia. It's bad. It's really, really bad. But that's what it's like to work for Moon Gang Industries. You guys thought the crying in the shower was a bit, yeah. I've actually had to start FaceTiming him as I'm crying in the shower, which he's had to sign some increased levels of NDA recently. Like just crying incessantly. It's bad. It's bad. Absolutely bad. Oh, Jesus. Are we really going to have to do this today? Are we really going to have to do this today? All right. I guess people want to chirp me. Well, I'm up. What'd you guys see? I think it was 60,000 at max yesterday. It ended up 20. I'm up another 26 right now. Here's my year to date, 145, up 160%. Here's my 1 day. Yeah, I wish I was better too, but alas, I am, in fact, a fraud who never trades, and this is all me editing CSS and faking real-time numbers that happen to perfectly align with real-time numbers. You guys caught me. All of these accusations of me being a fraudulent trader are real. I have been caught, and I will reveal my trick. I will. The fact that you guys have done so much Sherlock Holmes level detective work on me and my trades, it is only fair I reveal to you my big secret. I am not a trader. I am a time traveler. I have spent the recent months of my life creating a device that allows me to go forward one day in time. I write down everything that goes well. I come back in time and I trade those things. It's not fair. It's not me being a trader. It's me being a time traveler. And you guys caught me. You guys caught me. I'm ashamed to say I am not I'm just a time traveler. It sucks. I wish I were a trader. I wish I could be there with all of you and trading day in and day out. But instead, I cheat every single day. I move forward. I move the clocks forward 24 hours, write down everything, and I come back. Wouldn't it just make more sense to buy the Powerball? Fuck. It would. God damn it, Jack. Fuck. Jack, why the fuck wouldn't you tell... You're saying I have to live stream the markets when I could just be buying the Powerball every fucking... Jack. Fuck you, Jack. Why didn't Jack tell me this beforehand? God damn it, Jack. I kind of want to bam Jack. Why have I been doing this? I could have just been buying all the Powerball. Jack, fuck you. Jack, you're shivering my timbers today, Jack, oh boy. Fucking Jack. Well, now I'm just going to go do that. And there's no point in me doing this anymore. Who are these nobodies calling you out? I don't know. People who didn't get enough attention as a child. I assume they're really, really cool and really, really awesome and really, really successful. Because those are the telltale signs of people who call you out on the internet. I would assume. Who the fuck was that other guy? You guys are like really making me nostalgic on all the people. There's that fucking dweeb Andrew Mo Money, that fucking loser Jackson Hunter, Tara, whatever her name was. She actually moved on to become a huge Twitter profile, like a political influencing profile. I don't think anyone utilized the AMC community better than Tara. Do you guys remember Tara Bull? She literally went from selling her OnlyFans to AMC people to somehow getting on a Twitter space call with Elon Musk. And now she's one of the most influential political Twitter accounts in existence. How crazy is that? Like, what a fucking upgrade, man. Like, what an upgrade. Literally shilling her OnlyFans to AMC fucking dweebs. Oh, man. Honestly, hats off to her. All right, we're getting that technical breakout. Makes sense, yeah. World's crazy. World's crazy. All right, you guys know my target. And I knew this was going to happen, remember? Due to my ability to travel forward in time. But remember, alas, I do not really trade, and those $32,000 I am up today are not real. It's not real. You don't have the 100K to compete. I don't. once again, you have made a fool of me. I wish I had $100,000. I think we all do. I think we could all do well with another $100,000, but you're right. I don't have 100K. I didn't. You guys got me in a pickle. You guys caught me in a pickle. I don't know even what to do here. SPY high of day, yes, but more importantly, we got the breakout of 6,700, and I do want to point out, hang on, we have a new short-term target. This is a new position right here. Someone threw on a little bit of a baby call credit spread at 6,725, but the big one is at 6,735, so I need to update. Oh, they're literally just playing the high from yesterday. There's a new smaller position. Someone is attempting to play the rejection of yesterday's high right here. I marked it out at 24. That is the high. The mini call credit spread, it's not mini, it's 5,000, is trying to defend that, but the big one is at 6,735, so kind of a 10-point overshoot. What is the difference between absolute gamma and net gamma? So you could have gamma from longs, from shorts, from calls, from puts. So those are all of them individually. You could have the absolute gamma reading of all of those individually. The net is putting that all together. Good question. Someone's actually trying to learn today. Everyone else, we're all just like fucking off. And then there's like one poor viewer who's like actually trying to learn and asking quality questions, trying to better their trading career, while the rest of us are talking about a guy who got arrested because he was breaking and entering on a church and he live streamed it. There's always that one student who's trying to like actually get better and like, hey guys, like teacher's talking, like I'm trying to take notes. And in this case, the teacher's also fucking off. I feel bad for them. They're like, hey guys, test is coming up. SATs are soon. I'm like really trying to actually learn here. It'd be cool if you guys could like also be paying attention. Poor guy. Trying to keep us all on track. I feel for you. I do. That's a great question. That's actually a super high quality question. And everyone else is like, fuck it. What are volume trader? Oh, I don't know. What's a volume trader? I assume someone looking for not only price breakouts, but also volume breakouts. Matt, how did you get FFN to connect to NinjaTrader? I can't seem to do it. Set up rhythmic. It's a rhythmic connection is how I did it, Devin. Via rhythmic. All right, we have a bit of distance to go. We're watching 24. We're watching 25. We're watching 35. Potential for the bull case to play out. Maybe a little bit of an overshoot. Maybe we create a higher low here and then keep going. Loud traders. Yeah, it's just people who trade, but they scream. That could be a volume trader. I always would try to get the teacher to talk about their divorce so they wouldn't do shit. Oh my God, dude. Hey, Mrs. Smith? Ms. Smith? Notice your name changed recently. What's the deal with that? That is so devious, dude. Can you explain an FFN Express account? Yeah, it's just you don't have to pass the eval. You go straight to funded. And the major thing that I saw that changes is the price is slightly higher, but once again, you don't have to pass the eval. And the consistency rule is a bit different. The consistency rule is a bit different. Avago's taken off. Oracle, dude, is having the worst time at 310. Tesla's picking up. Could you take a second to explain what is happening when I change the time variable 10, 1 hour, 1 day on spot gamma, hero, settings, maybe use SPX? When you change, where are you looking at it? This? Are you talking about this over here? No, you said on hero. Can you take a second to explain what is happening when I change the time variable 10 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day on spot gamma hero settings? You're saying in settings here. where are you? Where? I'm on Hero. Here's settings. Oh, this is the rolling window. So it's okay. This is a good question. First of all, keep it on day. Keep it on 1 day. But what it is, it's how far back in time you're using your baseline 0. So when you do it as 1 day, okay, you're starting out the day at a delta reading of 0 and you're seeing the movement from there. So that's your 0 point. You could make the 0 point 4 hours ago. You could make the 0 point 1 hour ago. If you made the 0 point 1 hour ago, you're basically saying, tell me the delta, the net delta movement from 9:48 until now, 10:48. So it's your starting point. I would recommend always keeping it on 1 day because that means you're zeroing out at the start of regular trading hours. But obviously, if you go to 5 minute, that is starting your hero movement from 5 minutes ago. I think it's most useful to know how it's all changed from 9:30 until where you are. But obviously, you can lengthen it or you could shorten it. But for me, I always keep it on 1 day. So it's literally just the start point of where you're measuring the delta movement. How long ago? FFN uses Motion Wave for the mobile trading platform, having issues finding the app on Google Play Store. What else? But you could use, aren't there ways to get Ninja now on your phone? I just use the Rhythmic on the, and I just have that hooked up, but I don't really trade much from my phone. All right, looks like we are just getting the retest. So we tried to break out, we got close, we actually broke out, and now the question is, are we going to find support here? Are we just going to get the higher low? If we do, this is, if we bounce off of this, if we start to pick up, this is going to end up being the trade of the day. I'm telling you this now, regardless of if the trade is profitable or not, in terms of good decision making, as long as we don't dip that far, as long as we see strong, Mag 7 popped, it's going a little bit down right now. S&P 500 is giving, how do I close this? It's giving a little bit of it back. What I'm looking for is for the base to be created right here and starting, ooh, someone just got hit. Yeah, the call delta. Someone just unloaded calls. Basically, this is the battle. This is the battle at 6,700. If we can put in a higher low here and we start to recover, your risk would be the recent low. Your first target would be 24, 25. Your next target would be 35, and your reach target would be 50. That's going to be the trade of the day. Obviously, you wouldn't be executing the trade right now because it's an if-then statement. If this happens, then trade. And the if hasn't happened yet. We haven't bottomed. We haven't seen the recovery. But if we do, that's definitely going to end up being the trade of the day. Definitely going to end up being the trade of the day. And I believe Icarus should catch that. Yeah, Icarus will catch it if we start to recover here. Yeah. All right. Maybe we find, this is the 1 minute chart for the S&P 500. This is the 50 EMA. We have a little bit of a dip, a 6-point dip below this key level. Let's see if some buyers step in. Options still kind of turning to the south, and you can see the S&P 500 started to get beat up right after that breakout. Right here is where people started to take their profits between 1042 and 1046. Right here, this little like ball formation, like kind of arcing up, coming back down. Gravity perfectly winning out. 4 bars up, 4 bars down. That was all this. Calls went up, calls went down, calls were purchased, calls were sold. Pretty easy peasy lemon squeezies. Easy peasies lemon squeezies. APLD, this is one that's been running for a minute. Definitely been running for a minute. It keeps going. If you're entering now, your risk is either 32.80 or 30. I think the risk reward is not good just because it does look bullish. If I had a position, I'd keep riding it. But just because something looks bullish doesn't mean it's good from a risk reward perspective to get in at that moment in time. And I just think this risk is a little bit too wide. You're risking this recent low or risking the gap fill, or there's a whole nother gap fill. I just don't like the risk. It seems like you have to take on quite a bit of risk. But however, if you're in it and you've been riding it and your stop's already at break even or better, yeah, just keep riding it. It does look good. It does look strong. I'm not denying that. I just don't necessarily like it for a new entry at this moment in time. You have a min to put spot gamma flow patrol up for whatever you think is of value baiting spot gamma or unusual whales, but I'm not seeing much more value spot gamma, so curious your take. Oh, I think unusual whales sucks. Spot gamma, it's not even close. Spot gamma is exponentially better. Exponentially better. I actually don't even know the comparison, really. There's no doubt in my mind that spot gamma is a much more accurate, much more powerful, and a much more useful tool compared to unusual whales or really any other options analytics. I'm not here to pick on unusual whales. I'm just saying I have used all options analytics tools, all of them. And I'm telling you, spot gamma is second to none. It's not even close. I don't even know another options analytics tool that's even close to being in the same league as spot gamma. And a lot of it has to do with they have the best data. They're the only firm I really know of that buys the top tier data from all exchanges. And then on top of it, they hired the right software people to express that data. And then they also had previously people who were employed by options market makers to tell the guys showing it what it actually means. So really, you have the best data with the best interpretation and then also the best like showcasing of it. And no other ones have that. It's truly not even close. I mean, actually, some of the other ones, without naming names, have been credibly accused of the data they're showing is just wrong. Bookmap isn't an options analytics tool. That's more of like a DOM. It sure has a prettier interface, no doubt. Yeah, they did. Well, no, even beyond the interface, though. Like I'm saying, like literally the data itself is better data. Do you think Bookmap is accurate or lagging? It is accurate, but just to be clear, Bookmap is not options data. Bookmap is DOM. It's literally the order book, the depth of market, DOM, depth of market. It is the sitting buy orders and the sell orders, and they're also tracking the recent orders that have hit the tape. Those are two distinct things. Don't conflate Bookmap and spot gamma. One is a DOM, depth of market, and most likely you're using it for futures, while the other is for the derivatives market. Two separate things used for two separate reasons. Okay, what we are seeing right now is the trade of the day. I'm calling this out right here. Whether it works or it doesn't, this is the trade of the day. Breakout trade here at 6701. Your risk is 93. You're risking 8 points. I wouldn't even be taking it off at 09, but you could. So out of the gate, you have a 1-to-1 trade. So even if it's a 50-50 opportunity, taking this situation time and time again, you're going to be break even. So even there, I like that. That's a good start. My first scale out target would be here. My second scale out target would be there. My third scale out target would be all the way up at 50. What we are seeing, this setup right here, this is the trade of the day. And you could choose to risk 93. You could choose to risk 85. Obviously, if you're risking more, there's a higher chance of you being right. But if you're wrong, you're going to take a bigger hit. And obviously, at that point, if you're risking 85, you're probably going to at least need the overshoot of the current intraday high. But why I like this trade, obviously, and if you want to be really loosey-goosey with it, more of a swing trader, your risk could be closer to 77. So that's kind of up to you. That's kind of like player's choice, whether you're risking 93, 86, or 77. But let's go over why this is what I'm referring to as the trade of the day. And it's just because of the decision in it. Just because something is the trade of the day, of course, that doesn't mean you're going to make money. Sometimes the best trade of the day ends up being a loser because you don't know when random tweets or data drops or that. We're going to define the trade of the day based on the quality of the decision made at that moment in time. So what do we have for this quality decision? Well, looking at the daily chart, we're attempting to recover. Recently, we have higher highs and higher lows. Looking at momentum, bullish, 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 bullish. Looking at the NASDAQ, bullish, 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 bullish. Okay, but we're defining the overall ecosystem to be bullish. We're looking for a bullish opportunity. All right, we broke this key level. All right, we're popping up, we're pulling back, and we're trying to play this, obviously, the follow through. The one thing that I should have checked right here, Mag 7 still getting a little beat up. The SPY was going on that bounce. So obviously recently it just started selling off. Going into the 11 a.m. hour, it took a little bit of a hit here. Maybe it can double bottom. I don't know what those traders are about to do or not do. But my point is that we've identified a larger trend. There's a pullback in the shorter time frame, well-defined risk, and then you're looking for that shorter time frame pullback to go back in phase with the larger time frame. It doesn't get more Like it's that is it. The one thing I don't like right now of like why I wouldn't call it an A plus setup is you kind of wanted that delta to keep going. Obviously, at the point of the decision, this is all the information you had. Unfortunately, right after that, it went lower. For me, what's the Mag 7 doing? Like before when we were talking about the risk levels, I find that a lot of the times I'm in the medium level. I don't want to have it so close because I find that I could get whipped out, especially for like day trading. But I also, especially if I'm trading a lot of contracts on NQ, I don't want to take on the risk of the most extreme. So for myself, and once again, there's no necessarily right or wrong. Of course, like mathematically, there's going to end up being right and wrong, but that's more dependent on how you handle your exits. In terms of your entry, it's kind of personality of like, okay, here's my entry. I like this. Here's my exit. But you just have to worry about the other parts. Like if you don't want to always be taking on the most extreme risk and then scaling out at the closest level, because most likely that math isn't going to math. So there's a couple of things you have to consider for this overall framework. But what I am looking for, coming back to this one right here, is I'm looking for this generic area to hold, support, support, support. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the medium one. I'm a bigger fan, or the closest one. I'm a bigger fan of the medium one, but I know people who use all three. I know some people with the closest and they'll trade multiple times, people in the middle, and then also the most extreme where they'll size down and just give the trade more time to breathe. That they're all acceptable if you have the other part of the expected value equation worked out properly. AMC and Netflix deal working together, sick. It's just, folks, there's a finite amount of capital in your account. You have to be using the money on where you have the highest odds of success. And if you believe that AMC right now is anywhere close to the universe of the most interesting plays, you're just wrong. Right now, in this craziness with Trump and the government shutdown and the AI bubble and what's happening in commodities, if you think that some podunk fucking movie theater chain is where like you can express the best capital efficiency, it's just not. You're missing. There is opportunity cost. You have to consider opportunity costs in the market, and it's just not good. It's just not good opportunity cost. You're missing out on other plays. All right, let's see if right where we're battling it out on the Qs happens to be the high from yesterday, and right where we're battling it out on the SPY happens to basically be 6,700 on SPX. So let's just wait. We were looking really good until about 10:45. The delta started to come undone a little bit. Same thing on the SPY. We tried to reverse there. We got hit a little bit lower. Once again, 10:45 is where the tune changed a little bit. But what I'm hoping for is, once again, just we talked about this trade right here. Minimal risk, medium risk, larger risk. You're looking for the breakout and the follow through. I deeply believe this is going to be the trade of the day. And that's not even commentary on it making money or not. Just because something does or doesn't make money doesn't mean it was a good decision to trade it. But putting all the things together, the one thing that is stopping this from being an A+ trade is I'm not seeing the delta recover quite yet. So as soon as I see the delta on the Mag 7, the NASDAQ, and the SPY pick up, that's where it goes from being like a B trade to an A trade. Does Trump speak today? Someone is saying, yeah, at 3 p.m. I could look that up. White House schedule. So if it's at 3, it's probably at 4 because it's always just so late. President makes an announcement from the Oval Office. I guess he was at a ballroom dinner last night. The old ballroom dinner. 5 minute right at the EMA cloud, 10 minute there, 30 minutes bullish, 4 hours bullish. NASDAQ bullish, 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 bullish. So the NASDAQ on a relative basis, clearly stronger. Let's reset up some of these alerts. All right, have some breakout alerts. Just waiting. Today, a little lethargic. We had a fun pop there for a second, Right after making an intraday low, we popped to an intraday high. So for the second time today, we had that expanding pattern of higher highs and lower lows, like that microphone pattern. Very difficult to trade, but I'm hoping if we can overcome this recent high right here, right about just below 668 on the SPY, just above 607.50 on the Qs. This means that this dip right here officially is a higher low at a key level. It would make me very excited for the remainder of the trading session for the bulls. All right. Reminder, this is the final 15 hours. You have less than a day. This is the final trading session to take advantage of Apex. Use that code GOONIE, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. GOONIE will get you 80% off, and you'll get a lifetime upgrade fee. 1 fee to go from eval to performance. Crazy good deal. You have 15 hours left. If you want to take advantage of it, I highly recommend it. And then just make sure if you kind of do that degenerate passing of accounts today, make sure you sign up and do the upgrade before midnight tonight so you can get that one-time lifetime fee for the upgrade from eval to performance. So just want to let you know it's ending at midnight tonight. If you want to take advantage of it, use that code GOONIE. Use that code GOONIE. Oracle really not liking 310, keeps running into that negative gamma. Palantir popped going flat. Oracle popped, got hit. Tesla popped, maybe a higher low. Watching this one. Hopefully can hold 435 and get the breakout of 440. Avago popped, a little bit of a pullback. I'm liking 365 on Avago. Microsoft popped a little bit of a pullback. AMD, a little bit more. So everything had a pop. CoreWeave, a little bit of a flag. SoFi, a little bit more dramatic than I want to see it. Oklo having a rare red day. Apple doing nothing. Coin popped, gave it back. Hood starting to gear up for a potential move. Meta, nothing. Rum, slightly down. Open is starting to look legitimately weak. Whoa. Quantum computing is taking a hit. Qubits down 8.7, Rigetti down 13, IONQ down 6. Quantum computing, a little bit of bearishness across the entire quantum computing sphere. This might set up where I can finally actually get in on a dip here. So I'll be watching that. I didn't want to chase it to the upside just because it was a runaway train, but if we can just get another basic higher low, I might throw some plays on in quantum computing. So I'll be watching those a bit closer. Someone is unloading a little bit of size. Someone just smacked the market again right there. It was both. Calls got sold, puts got bought. Is that a new delta low? It almost is a new delta low. We're almost at the same delta rating as 1012 this morning. A little bit more extreme in the longer dated stuff than the 0 DTE, which does not bring me joy. All right. It's coming down to exactly what I called out this morning. It's just going to be this battle of 6,700. 6,700. I'm liking the low at 86. You might like the low at 78. We just need a succession. We just need another higher low. I'm telling you, I'm sticking to my guns. I still think it's the trade of the day. I do. Is selling calls to close less bearish or the same as selling calls to open? No, selling calls is selling calls. It drops delta. There might be tertiary impacts on people paying attention to the open interest, but in the immediate term, selling calls to open and selling calls to close both do the same thing to the delta reading. You are just basically selling positive delta. Good question. And here the buyers come back in. So a little bit of the Kansas City shuffle. How has Icarus not traded? What the fuck, dude? I really thought Icarus was going to be ripping it a bit more today. I guess not. Actually, in the long direction, Icarus is about to now turn off. There's a couple more opportunities for Icarus to trade, but Icarus is not that far away from turning off for the remainder of the day. Based on the year-to-date data on Thursdays, the bullish period is in the first half of the day. Yeah, this thing, it might take a couple trades right now. It might take a trade or two around noon, and then it's just donezo. Huh. Well, let's hope that this bar breaks. Let's hope that we take out whatever this recent high is for Icarus to go long. Come on, Icarus. No gas. Icarus doesn't have IBS. Oh, man. Icarus is, in fact, an unhinged wolf warrior, if you guys didn't know. Similar to the trade negotiator from China. They are two wolf cubs of the same wolf clan where they raise their wolves to be unhinged warriors. Matt, have you heard anything about a Tesla split? I saw an article today, but can't find anything else. No. That type of stuff, that's not really... people will call for it when things trade at an elevated price, but I know of no model or something that you could predict when that's going to happen. The 96 sleep score last night. Mine was 60 because I've been stressed and depressed. All right, let's get this party rocking. Let's go to the 5-minute. Looking for a higher low and a breakout here on SPY. Looking for the exact same situation on...
Order submitted.
Oh, Icarus, brother. 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 What are you doing? This is going to be... Is it the last trade? Well, no, that's not right. Okay, that's right. Sorry, I was on the wrong account over here. That confused me. Icarus, like I said, this is from data mining all of the data on Thursdays. The clearly bullish period on Thursdays is actually really small relative to the other days throughout the week, which is interesting though, because Thursday as a whole, like just the daily performance is actually pretty strong. But when data mining the periods, there's not much consistency. It's actually kind of uniformly distributed throughout the day, but there is a little bit of an uptick on the distribution in the first half of the day. And then no. So it's not saying that as a whole Thursdays aren't bullish. They in fact are bullish. It just has to do with there's no real evident pockets of strength. It's just on Thursdays, sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's midday, sometimes it's later on. So the day as a whole is a strong day, but when breaking the day up into its individual, actually what I did was 1 minute periods to just try to find the periods throughout the day with strength or weakness. It's just, there weren't pockets of density of like, this is always bullish or this is always bearish. It's uniform. Come on, Icarus. Look, Mom, no hands. I have to admit, even though the market itself has been pretty stressful lately, just doing this robot stuff has made life way easier. Was there slippage on this breakout? The breakout, I actually thought the breakout would be here. I thought it'd be long at 34. It has a fill at 29, which doesn't seem right. It feels like it should have been in at 25, but whatever. Come on. I just wanted to show you the one final trade from Icarus today. Come on, Icarus. Do your thing. Do your thing. Here, let's get really zoomed in. This is the 100 tick chart. Every single bar is 100 ticks, as in 100 trades, basically, which is really, really fast. This is like a chart that develops extremely, extremely quickly. Extremely, extremely quickly. Come on. Icarus, Icarus has embarrassed me as I'm trying to go. Yeah, I thought the breakout would be here. This was the breakout level. It thought the breakout level was this high when I thought it was this high. Interesting. I would have preferred taking the breakout at 55, risking the 1105 low, targeting the intraday high. I would have played it a little bit differently if I were manually trading. But like I said, life is far easier when you let your robots trade for you. I think gold is about to top out. Okay. If you've thought that at any point in the last, 2 months, you would have been completely wrong. So I have no reason to believe that this is when it's actually going to top out. Trying to pick tops and bottoms is a stupid game. It really is. It's if done, it's incredibly difficult to duplicate to the point that I don't even think it should be part of a trading system. If you do it, awesome, congrats. Technically you made the most money possible. But this idea of trying to pick the top, that inherently means you're predicting when the rest of the market is done buying. That's a hard thing to do. Think about the entire market in an aggregate. To know what all these other people are doing, it doesn't make the most sense to me. All right, here's a look at flow. Mag 7 starting to curl back up. S&P 500 is actually not. It's flat. That's interesting. That doesn't make me feel the best. But we are holding 6,700. I like that. I'm still down on this trade. What's weird to me is we are getting this price pop. The S&P 500 delta flow is not following suit. Okay, we still see gamma resistance at 6725, the high from yesterday, and also at 6735, high 5 points higher than where we saw that major resistance. If this gets tilted, we then do get into a bit of negative gamma. But that's the big level of the day, 6735. Without a doubt, that is the big level of the day if the bulls get their act together. But they're not going to launch off of 6,700 if the delta flow looks like this. If it starts to look like that, well, then we might be talking a little bit. How long? I've been in this trade for fucking ever, it feels like. Feels like I've been in this trade forever, ever. But it seems like the market is really just trying to evaluate, doesn't want to be at this level. You can see, we go above, we go below, we go above, we go below, we go above. We're just waiting. Mag 7 is holding. Price is taking a hit, but the delta is not agreeing with that. Not even really on the NASDAQ. So something in the Qs, price is having an overreaction. Maybe it just finds support at 100. But the delta is not coming off. The delta is actually holding on pretty steadily. Here's what's happening. Remember before, we just got a flow alert. Someone did something with size on the S&P 500. Selling calls, buying puts. Drop the delta real quick at 11:15. Interesting. What did that do here? It did drive it back below 6,700. You have to wait. I wish this was an evident play of oh yeah, no, evidently we're about to break. Evidently we're about to fall. No, it's not. All I can tell you, it's a key level. Don't try to predict, just react. If we start to break out, take out the highs and you like the risk of the recent low, great, have at it. On the flip side, if we start to get smacked and you want to go short and risk the recent high and play for recent lows, have at that. But don't try to predict the breakout or the breakdown, just react to it. Pay attention to the highs, the lows, your risk, and pay attention to the options flow. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. All right, let me move that breakout alert. Let me move this breakout alert. All right, so we have the recent low, we have the recent high, and then we also have the intraday high. And let me mark out the intraday low because I have some stuff to do today, and I only care if we're starting to get to the extremes. Tell me the current trend, tell me the extremes, and we can move on with our life. Generally, never a good time to waste your entire day watching every single bar, and I'm saying that as a person who is commonly guilty of it, but it is what it is. Your time is better sent off. Set the alerts, move on with your life. You watching the bar is not going to make it do what you want it to do. So probably waiting on a Trump announcement. That's not till later today. There's going to be a lot that happens between now and then. So the waiting thing, no, I wouldn't be doing that. But hey, that's how I see it. All right, before I let you go, remember, Apex final day. This is the trading session for it. 80% off, lifetime upgrade, very cheap right now. Use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, pinned at the top of chat in the description of the video. It is your final day to take advantage of this deal. So make sure to use that link. Make sure to use that code GOONIE. I gave you the levels just to show you this one last time. The major thing that jumps out to me is the 6735, and then also this is new as of market open, is 6725. Obviously the battle is it's coming down to 6700. If the bulls can hold this, we have a real shot of ripping 25 points followed by another 10, 35 points. This is a very interesting bullish target level of the day. If things get crazy, your reach target would be 50, but I care more about these two levels in terms of targets, and I care about this in terms of support. If the bears win here, look for the rejection back down to 80, which is pretty much the intraday low, and then a fall down to 671, which is the closing value from yesterday, and then the reach target would be 6650, and I wouldn't be on a 0 DTE basis. I wouldn't be swinging for more than that based on the current gamma structure setup. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to go hang out in the Discord a little bit. Hope to see you in the Goonie Trading Discord. That's what I have for you. I hope you make a shitload of money. Please pay attention to the trend. Pay attention to your risk. Don't oversize. Leverage is what's going to kill. And I just hope you make a shitload of money. I hope you crush it. I'll catch you again tomorrow for not only Friday, but for Payday Friday, where we do it the biggest, we do it the bestest, and I hope to see you there. Thanks for all the good vibes. Peace.